From News 19, I'm meteorologist Daniel Bonds. This is the 9:45 update on January the 9th. We're still tracking the potential for severe weather later today. I always think it's a good idea to remind people the difference between a watch and a warning. We had a few questions about that earlier today. A watch means conditions are favorable for bad weather. So at this point, you need to be prepared. You need to know where to go when severe weather hits, and you do need to stay updated and have multiple ways to get those weather alerts. Warning, a little bit of a different scenario. Severe weather is happening or likely happening at that point. And at that point, you do want to seek shelter, lowest floor, away from windows and doors. And you do want to stay updated, but you don't want to look outside. Well, a lot of times you can't see these tornadoes that possibly could be rain wrapped, and that may be the scenario for today. A little bit of tornado terminology, tornado watch, be prepared. Now, we don't have any watches or warnings in place as of right now, 9:45 or 9:46, but conditions are favorable for tornadoes to form during a tornado watch. Tornado warning means a tornado has been spotted on radar or has been spotted by a trained spotter at that point. Tornado emergency sometimes happens. I don't know if we've ever had a tornado emergency in South Carolina, at least recently, but it does happen every once in a while. Severe weather threat to human life and catastrophic damage. So those are kind of the tornado terminology, watches and warnings. Now, where to go during a severe storm? That's always a question we get asked. So if this is your average house here, you want to go to the centermost part of your house, away from windows and doors. A stairwell is pretty good, hallway or closet or bathroom, but biggest thing, lowest part of your house, away from windows and doors. If you have a basement, I know a lot of places in South Carolina don't necessarily have basements, but if you do, that is a pretty safe place. As of 9:48 this morning, no watches or warnings in effect for our area in South Carolina or the Midlands. Do believe that'll change as we go through the rest of the day. Do believe we'll have at least some type of watch will be issued for parts of the Palmetto State. Here's the time frame we're looking at. 1 o'clock or so, we'll start to see those storms develop in the western half of the Midlands, and that'll be the opportunity we have for the possibility for maybe even a tornado warning. Severe thunderstorms will be possible during this time frame. You're talking 1 to up to about, we'll say 5 o'clock or so. The storms will be in the eastern half of the Midlands at that point. All day long, though, we could have this possibility for some high winds, 25, 35 miles per hour with some stronger gusts, and we could have some heavy rainfall. The good news is these storms are moving so fast, the odds of flash flooding appear to be pretty small at this point, so that is certainly good news there. Here's our current setup. We have a warm front moving through parts of South Carolina. You notice the cold front here, an associated low pressure system, and all this activity is kind of pushing towards the north and east. And really it's right in this area here, just south of that warm front, just east of the cold front, where we're watching the severe weather, at least as of right now. And as this line of storms continues to push towards us, the threat for severe weather will continue to increase, especially as we get into the afternoon hours. Here is the setup right now. We have rain for us here across the Midlands, some heavy downpours. Notice this line of storms moving through parts of Georgia. It looks like the main line of storms have moved out of Atlanta at this point, but it's still a lot of lightning. That yellow box there, that is a tornado watch box for parts of Georgia. We'll zoom in a little bit closer. We do have the rain and some heavy downpours impacting parts of South Carolina and the Midlands right now. You notice some heavy downpours in parts of Fairfield County, Richland County, down towards Columbia and Lexington County as well. A few isolated heavier downpours over towards Lexington, at least the western part of Lexington and Aiken counties. The rain will kind of be scattered in nature, but as we get into the afternoon hours, the thunderstorm opportunity will start to increase. Here is the latest forecast model run. This one just came out a few minutes ago, so I haven't even seen it myself, but this is 1:30. Here comes that line of storms moving through parts of the Midlands. It's going to be quickly moving towards the east, so you're talking about this main line of storms. This is 3 o'clock. The storms are pushing through parts of, we'll say, western Kershaw, eastern Fairfield near Lake Wateree, down through Columbia, Lexington, and even western parts of Orangeburg. By the time we get to about 4 o'clock, here's that main line, and that's going to be the line we'll be watching for severe weather. It continues to move towards the east by about 5 o'clock or so, right along or maybe even east of I-95. And at that point, the severe weather threat for the Midlands will be over. Now, you can give this an hour or so here and there as far as timing is concerned, but this is the latest from our in-house forecast model, which I will say has done, I think, a pretty good job of showing what we're expecting over the last few days. So as we go into tonight, the weather will be a lot calmer, but it'll still be breezy at times, and we do expect a good bit of sunshine for your Wednesday, but it is going to remain pretty breezy at times even tomorrow. The severe weather threat, we're under this enhanced risk, at least for the majority of the Midlands and South Carolina. It's this brown area here, so this is a level 3 out of 5 from the Storm Prediction Center. So an enhanced risk for severe weather. What does that mean for us? Well, numerous severe storms possible, more persistent and widespread, some of which could be intense. And in this case, we could have a few tornado warnings as well. So an enhanced risk. It's a 3 out of the 5 here from the Storm Prediction Center. Wind damage still really the major threat we'll be watching. Wind damage as that main line pushes through the Midlands and the Palmetto State. But you can't rule out that possibility for even a tornado warning. Don't use this graphic a whole lot, but I think it shows it pretty well. This is the significant tornado forecast. This is for 1 o'clock, and you can kind of see this area here in yellow and orange. That will be the area that has the highest risk for tornadoes at this point. And you'll notice even down towards the low country of South Carolina, even a higher risk for tornadic activity. As we get to 3 o'clock, the threat starts to shift a little bit more towards the east. This is 4 o'clock. You notice the threat for tornadic activity is out of the western half of South Carolina and moves into the eastern half of the Midlands and the Palmetto State. And by 5, 6 o'clock, the threat for us is over at that point. That significant tornado parameter is right in line with this significant risk for tornadic activity in yellow here. So we're talking about the potential for some strong thunderstorms and tornadic activity, maybe a few tornado warnings. As far as large hail is concerned, it's not really a concern for us in the Midlands per se, but in the low country of South Carolina and over towards the Grand Strand and Myrtle Beach, basically along and east of I-95, is the area that could have large hail. Most of the Midlands would not expect to see any kind of large hail. I will say the confidence has been increasing on a significant weather event today. So confidence is high that we could have some bad weather later this afternoon and into the very early evening hours across the state. Rainfall amounts back down a little bit for some areas. Orangeburg, at least our in-house forecast model, is predicting about a half inch. Columbia, Sumter a little bit more, and then more rain in the upstate of South Carolina, where that's the area at least more prone to flooding, at least for this event. You'll notice here moderate risk for excessive rainfall in the upstate, slight risk of flooding in this yellow area, and then kind of a smaller risk in this green area. But do think with the speed of these storms, the opportunity for flash flooding will be relatively small at this point. So that's good news. But the rain is certainly going to saturate the soils. We're going to have the gusty winds with the thunderstorms. We're going to have the strong winds in general. We do have this wind advisory in effect until 10 o'clock tonight. So we're talking about winds 25 to 35 miles per hour with gusts up to 50. You have the saturated soils, you get these strong winds, you're certainly talking about some tree damage. You knock down these trees, then you have the power lines, and then you just have some power outages. So there is that threat for some power outages with the rain and the wind and even those thunderstorms moving through. Looks like another chance for rain and possibly some thunderstorms on Friday. We hadn't even gotten through today. We're already talking about the possibility for more storms on Friday. That was the European forecast model. Here's the American model, and officially this is from the Storm Prediction Center, showing at least a chance for severe weather for Friday as well. Now, it's hard to believe we're talking about January. This seems more like a kind of a springtime-like pattern at this point. It's going to feel like spring later today with high temperatures in the mid to upper 60s. Some of the southern parts of the Midlands may even touch the lower 70s. And then for tonight, partly cloudy skies with lows dropping down into the mid to upper 30s. Here's our 7-day forecast. The weather is a lot quieter tomorrow with those highs in the low 50s. It will still be a bit windy at times. 60 degrees on Thursday, so not a bad day Thursday. Scattered showers and thunderstorms will be possible on Friday. And then as we kind of look ahead towards the weekend, it is pretty quiet. It'll be a little cool too. Highs in the low 50s on Saturday and Sunday. The coastal forecast, more of the same. Strong storms along the coastal region of South Carolina today. Rain on Friday. Pretty quiet weather Saturday and Sunday. Forecast for the upstate, more rain today and then more rain on Friday. And as of right now, it could even be a wintry mix on Monday. That's something we'll have to watch for in the upstate of South Carolina. But if you're traveling this morning, drive careful, and especially as you go into the afternoon hours, we'll have those wet roads. You do want to give yourself a little more time and space. With the roads being wet, you'll have those windy conditions, so you do want to pay close attention to the weather throughout the day for any kind of change in the forecast. But we'll keep you updated online and on air as needed, so keep it here for more weather updates.